And the final question of this series of questions is, both of you are wearing the same color. I suppose this was 1 or 2 episodes ago.
Yeah.
Is this a dress code in HackSoft?
Teddy told us to wear something different than black and blue in order to distinguish ourselves from the
Yes.
background. So our colorful
Our wardrobe
is orange,
offers orange.
orange and sometimes green.
And sometimes green. Yeah, you are the green. You're the green guy. But yeah, it was a coincidence, and for today we actually synced.
Yeah.
Not to wear the same color because. All right. Welcome everyone to HackCast Season 2, Episode number 10. This is going to be the season finale, meaning this is going to be the last episode for the season. We are here again. Ivo?
Ivo is here again.
Ivo is here again. Rado is here again. And for the last episode of the season, we have prepared something very, very special for you. As announced, we managed to collect quite a lot of questions, and we are just going to go one by one and just answer the questions that you have. That's why we are a bit old school with printed paper and pens. I think we have this is from the last HackConf. Is it?
Yeah, it is. It is. There
The
is
clip?
The clip, and there is a HackOff Panda sticker at the back.
And we have some unused pens from previous HackConfs from sponsors. So we managed to print some paper and get all the questions here. And of course, at the end of the episode, we're going to announce something very, very special because HackSoft is turning 9 in February, and we're going to do something, something special about it. So, do you want to start right away with the questions, or do you want to talk a little bit about season 2? How do you feel about it?
I would start with the questions because there are some questions about season 2, season 3.
All right.
So let's dive in.
Okay, so the way we're going to do it is I'm going to read the question, and then we're going to basically discuss it, if we can provide some answers. And in the edits in the video, Teddy is going to put somewhere around here a screenshot of the original question. So we're just going to read the question. We don't have names. We don't have images here.
Okay.
So it's just going to be the question. And we're going channel by channel. First questions from YouTube, then from LinkedIn, and then from Instagram. And the first question comes from YouTube, and it's something that we've already answered on YouTube. And actually, YouTube decided that our answer is not following the guidelines and just blocked the reply for 60 days. But then we replied again.
Okay.
And the question is about DDD, which is domain-driven design, and Django. And it's basically, should I use DDD with Django? Is it an overkill? And how can one convince a architect not to follow DDD, but rather something else?
Mm-hmm.
And the answer here, like there are a couple of answers here. For sure, if you try to follow DDD with Django, it's going to be an overkill. This is something that comes from Javaland, from Spring, and at least in my opinion, involves a lot of rituals. It's very strict on where to put things, how to name things, and how things should communicate.
Which is a good thing, to be strict with these things.
Yeah, but it's way stricter. It's like you have zero to no flexibility.
All right.
And just following this ritual, I call it a ritual, is going to increase your development time and development complexity and onboarding time and onboarding complexity, because if you simply follow our Django style guide, which is also kind of strict about certain things, but it's also quite pragmatic and it gives you quite a lot of flexibility. It says, all right, just separate your business logic. We call it the service layer, but then how you do it, it's up to you. And things that should belong together should be together, which is not the same in DDD. It's like spread it all over the place. And for me, the biggest problems are increased development time. And if this is not a problem, then it's going to be really hard to onboard new people, because they need to first learn everything around DDD and then start navigating around the code base and solving problems and writing features and just being productive. Okay. Which I must say, for our Django style guide, it's really fast to onboard someone because it's really easy to point, here is the code. Just go and start edit the codes. Here are the tests, and just make sure you're not breaking anything.
All right. But there is one more bullet point in the question: how to convince our architect, our team lead, to follow the Django style guide instead of doing DDD?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I think it's really hard to convince someone that has already made his or her mind. If the architect wants to do DDD, then it's going to be DDD. But the best argument is increased development time, which means things are going to be delivered slower, and most probably you're going to need more people on the team just to handle the increased complexity of following DDD.
All right. Yeah. I would say that keep in mind that if the whole team is doing DDD, and for example, if they're coming with some kind of Java background, having consistency all over the project is a solid point. Yeah. So probably the architect is going to be okay, but everyone knows DDD, so we don't really want to switch to something else because it works for us. And I think a good way to consider someone is just to try it out, just to have some small piece of functionality following our style guide, let's say, or some different pattern just to illustrate the idea, and then you can have a solid conversation on top of something that is already there.
And just keep it simple, I would say, and just keep it simple. I highly recommend the talk on DDD and Django from last year's DjangoCon.
Okay.
It was a really good talk. It's on YouTube, so if you just Google or YouTube search Django DDD DjangoCon is going to show as the first result, and then the speaker makes a really good case of what does it mean, what's included, what are the pros, what are the cons. So I think that's about it. The first question we've actually answered this as a comment with links, and I think we can just cross. Yeah, we can cross it. All right. Next question from YouTube. How do you hire Django developers? Traditional Q&A, problem solving, or live coding type of interview?
All right. So our process is pretty straightforward. We have a full screening, and then we are sending a task. And the people being in the interview has like 10 days in order to submit a solution back. Yeah. The solution should be Django based when it comes to Django development. And then we're having technical interview on top of the solution that the person provided. So we are talking about the solution itself. We are talking, hey, share a screen, jump into the code, and let's start a conversation based on that.
Yeah, and whatever is included in the solution, we ask questions about this.
Yes.
Usually starting with things from Django like models and APIs and stuff like this. But then if there's something else, we always ask questions about the code that is in your solution. And the problem itself that we sent is basically, here's a Figma design. Here are some rough requirements. It's up to you to build a backend that will solve those requirements for this design. Yes. If you have questions, please ask them. That's about it.
We avoid live coding on the interview, mainly because people are nervous, and live coding while someone is watching at your screen is normally not something that you can do easily without any preparation. Yeah.
So this is how we hire Django developers. And then the follow-up question is, at a company level, how do you guys manage getting new clients since you are all developers first and then heads of business units? So basically, how do we get new clients?
That's a true statement. We are a developer first.
Yes.
So,
which sometimes comes as a shock to new clients, but I think it's a great plus.
Well, yeah, clients are used to speak with salespeople, with people that do not write code and they do not really understand what developers are doing. So it makes it a little bit easier that we know everything about the development process. But I think you can share some more information on how we actually find the clients. And
that's for sure. We're going to have a future HackCast episode on that topic, perhaps a couple. But we are software developers. We are problem solvers by heart. And we had to learn how to do the business things like sales and marketing. And getting new clients was always the challenge. And for now, right now, we are establishing some kind of a process where we have active sales and marketing and branding process that's going to help us get new clients, but usually clients find us via they have watched something on YouTube, they like what they hear, they send an email, and then we start talking. So those are the clients that have, for example, existing projects that are in a really bad state, and then they come to us so we can rescue them.
Yes.
And we actually do rescue them. We have like 3 clients so far with that scenario, and we are really good at this. Really good at just jumping in and figuring out how to salvage everything, how to establish a proper development process, establish rhythm, and then carry on. So this is one of the ways. And the other more general way of finding new clients is, since we had some clients from our very beginning, which were more or less luck.
I would agree with this.
Pure luck. Then once we establish good communication, good connection with them, we just ask for referrals. We ask for recommendations, and this is how we get so far new business. And it's not very sustainable for sure, and that's why we have finally started paying way more attention and getting much better at this, and actually establishing a proper sales process.
That's true.
And we will cover this. It's going to be an interesting topic in future HackCast episode.
Okay, nice.
All right. So this is done. All right. I think this is going to be a long episode. What is like when Django gets unchained?
This is an abstract one.
Yeah. Well, when Django gets unchained, let's put it in a software perspective, you actually deliver, and you deliver with good speed.
I would agree with this. Yeah, for me, Django is all about productivity. And when it gets unchained, I understand this as when you really know how to use it and know how to build big things with it.
Yep.
This is, in my opinion, the power of Django, that when you know the framework good enough and you're not doing the generic stuff, but you try to do something more domain specific with heavy business logic, that's the point where Django gets unchained. And using Django, you just get a really productive flow. And it's working.
It gets unchained when you feel comfortable with it, and you can move fast.
Yes.
Without actually compromising quality or things like this.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, next question. Since season 2 is ending with episode number 10, this is true. This is episode number 10. Yes. We are ending season 2. Yeah, this is true. What are the plans for season 3?
The plans are to make season 3.
Yeah, there is going to be a season 3.
With 10 episodes.
With 10 episodes, yeah.
Because 10 is a nice number.
Yeah. and having season. So the general idea of having seasons for HackCast is that it gives us a framework where we can, for example, for season 3, experiment with certain topics and see what are the results and see how we feel about it, and then start clean again with season 4. So it's basically giving us the ability to focus on something. So, for example, after we are done with this episode and it's released, we're going to get together and we're going to discuss season 2, and then we're going to discuss what do we want to do about season 3, what do we want to do about season 4. So yeah, there's going to be season 3, there's going to be season 4, and as long as we can keep making HackCast, there's going to be HackCast with slight variance, with some changes, but that's the idea.
And this whole thing is giving a structure, which is something that we love as software developers. So seasons, episodes.
Yeah. All right. You shared the recap of 2022, which is great. Can you share what are your plans for 2023, or is it something you plan for HackCast season 3? That's a good question.
It seems like a nice topic for the upcoming HackCast season.
Yes. So just yesterday we had a company update, internal company update, where we talked about some of the things that we want to focus on 2023, and it was like an hour and something, like 10 to 15 minutes long.
Yeah, more than an hour.
I think we should do this at some point in season 3 and share our vision for 2023. But the thing is, last year was pretty good because we finally matured. We finally became, stable enough. And we finally started doing things that we need to be doing as a business, because software, we're pretty good at it and we're getting better. Yeah. But we needed to, we had to improve a lot of things across the company. and we are continuing this over 2023. But
it's a long topic.
Yeah, we will put it in a HackCast episode.
We promise.
We promise. All right. Next one. Also, do you plan to introduce more people from inside the company? I suppose this is for HackCast.
I don't think we have like certain plans for this, but it would be nice. And I guess in season 3 we are going to do this.
I think the short answer is yes.
We already have a third microphone and a third headset.
Yeah, we already have a third microphone and a third headset, and we already have ideas to bring people from inside the company, like we did with Common. But most probably it's going to be season 4.
All right.
So the short answer is yes. So stay tuned and make sure to subscribe. That's the only way to see the people from inside the company. And for us, it's easy to just come here and record. For most people, they will need some prep time just to feel confident, and we want to be sure that we give them this prep time. So short answer, yes, most probably season 4. Next one. Oh, wow. This one is
a long one.
Yeah. So let me try rephrasing it, and you will be the one answering it. This is a follow-up on our Django deployment episode. And the first question is, isn't it better to just use Kubernetes because it's platform agnostic? Let's start with this one.
I would say that if you are right now to choose a path, go ECS, Elastic Container Service, AWS ECS, or Kubernetes. I would say start with Kubernetes first.
All right.
Because it is true, you're not vendor locking yourself with only one cloud provider. Although in many cases, this is not really a valid point because AWS is here and it's going to be here for a long time. But Kubernetes, I would say, is almost the same as ECS without the vendor lock. And this is definitely a plus.
All right. And then the follow-up question is, so do I get this right? Docker helps you kind of abstract the application and the various things that your application uses. Like
yes,
database, message queues.
It helps you bundle your software with everything needed in there in order to work.
That's Docker.
Docker.
Then Kubernetes is like one level on top of it, but for the infrastructure things.
Yeah, so you have your project Dockerized. You have all the software needed in order for your project to work in containers, but you need something to spin on these containers and make them work.
Okay.
Right? The whole infrastructure. And the Elastic Container Service is doing this for you.
Okay. Yeah.
But it is coupled with the AWS stack only. And Kubernetes is almost the same thing, but for many different cloud providers.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. I think I get it now. So the next question is, as a backend developer, I don't like DevOps stuff that much. So as I move forward towards the senior level, will I have to learn AWS? That's basically the gist of the question. If you are a backend developer, you don't like DevOps that much. Do you need, like, with a higher percentage of certainty to fiddle and deal with AWS?
Okay, I would say that if you're working in a bigger team, you most probably have dedicated DevOps people, and your company structure is done in such a way that you're most probably not even going to get to the servers anyway. So if you're kind of afraid of DevOps work, then big companies are for you. Yeah. However, it will definitely help you to be a better backend developer if you understand how your application is working on the server, how it's getting deployed, how it's getting built, every single step of the software development process. If you understand it, you will become a better backend developer. So you don't have to learn it, but it will definitely be better for you if you do.
All right, I like this answer. I like this answer a lot. And the only thing that I want to add to it is there's this thing, I don't like DevOps stuff that much. My suggestion would be to explore why you don't like DevOps that much, and perhaps while exploring this and finding the answers and the root cause, it may be the case that you will actually like DevOps. Because sometimes people have some preconceived notion that they don't like something, and it's a good idea to understand why. And if it's still, I don't like DevOps, then it's fair enough.
Okay.
All right. And the last question, there are more. So I want to host my blog website, which uses Django. It's going to have 1K users per month. Should I deploy it on Heroku or should I use a VPS? Like
virtual private server. Well, Heroku are dropping all their free plans. So if you have a small website that has not a lot of traffic, right now you cannot use any free plan. So you're looking at $7 for the dyno and
$1 they have $1 database.
Okay, $1 database. You're looking around $7 to $10. Yeah, which is you can get the virtual private server for cheaper. And when you like $5, $4, something like that. But I would say that if you're looking to understand how to set up a Django on a VPS, then go on a VPS. If you don't really want to waste a lot of time on this, always go to Heroku.
Yeah, I tend to agree. My answer is going to be, if you like to learn setting things on VPS, then do it like this, because this is your own personal project, and sometimes those kind of projects are great to experiment.
Absolutely.
So just go ahead and just use VPS. If you want to start actually blogging as soon as possible and you have your project ready, just use Heroku. And if you really want to start blogging as soon as possible, and then the technology does not matter, then just use some of the ready-to-go blogging platforms.
Yes.
Like Ghost or WordPress or something like this. Just cut out the things that you don't need, and if you want to start blogging right away. If you want to experiment with Django, experiment with Django. If you want to experiment deploying on a VPS, do that.
Yeah. And keep in mind the cost difference too. I mean, it's not going to be a huge difference. So,
all right, page one down. It's really good. Ooh. I also have some memes. We also have some memes. Do you know we post a lot of memes on Instagram and TikTok? We have Instagram accounts, we have TikTok accounts, and they're going to show someplace here. So we also have memes. Make sure to follow us there. So I have seen some memes where a startup hosts their web app on their own laptop, called that server, up to how long we can self-host, because I have zero knowledge on this.
You cannot self-host in any way. I mean, if you have a dedicated server room with server equipment, main problems with self-hosting is power in buildings get down really often, and internet gets down really often.
Yes.
And even though you can pretty much get an old laptop and it's going to be enough for hosting almost any time of starter Django application, any type, it is not going to be really efficient in terms of electricity and being down like a lot really often. So
you have to take care of your own data center.
Yes. Or if you're talking about something like, let's say we have a server in the office, and sometimes you would like to test things there because it is way cheaper than renting, let's say, something powerful on AWS. And if it is not mission critical, let's say it is a build that runs at night, and if it does not build, it's okay. Someone is going to trigger it manually during the day. That's fine. But if you are talking about hosting something on production that needs to be online all the time, self-hosting is definitely not an option when it comes to hosting something in a residential building or something.
Yeah. You can do it if you have someone taking care of it. You can do it. For example, I can for sure host something on my new laptop because it's
beefy.
It's beefy, yeah. But again, there are better ways of doing this. And the final question of this series of questions is, both of you are wearing the same color. I suppose this was 1 or 2 episodes ago. Yeah. Is this a dress code in HackSoft?
Teddy told us to wear something different than black and blue in order to distinguish ourselves from the background. So our colorful
our wardrobe
is
orange,
orange and sometimes green.
And sometimes green, you are the green. You're the green guy. But yeah, it was a coincidence, and for today we actually synced, not to wear the same color because it was odd.
That's why I'm with the shirt, because
yeah.
my my only clothes that were okay were orange, so I decided to.
We need more clothes, but we do in due time.
Yeah.
All right. Next question. What kind of projects are developed and delivered at HackSoft? And there are like 3 follow-up questions after this.
What types of projects?
What kind of projects? Yes.
We mostly have web-based projects.
Yes.
In terms of the software is an actual system that you can access on the internet with some kind of web-based interface.
Yes.
And some business logic on the back end, mostly written in Django.
Yes.
For the front end.
Next,
React and mobile, of course.
Yeah, React Native.
And that's basically it. We have some how we call them, dedicated device that we have softwares for them and some embedded stuff, but this is not the
usual case.
Yeah,
I would say as a company, as HackSoft, we aim to do end-to-end software development projects, meaning if we can take care of more stuff, then we are happy, because we like to have the responsibility and be involved in the entire process. This is where our strengths are, and this is where we shine. And usually a software project involves some kind of a website. Usually there is a marketing website, there's like an app, and this app and marketing websites are usually built around React and Next. Usually there is a backend that's usually Django, sometimes Next. We discussed this on the headless and serverless episode. Sometimes there are more than one backends, like there's some kind of a service-oriented architecture. And usually behind the backend, there's some kind of back office. That depends, like a lot of options there. Sometimes Django, sometimes custom built, sometimes a third-party service. And then you usually have your infrastructure, your data layer, your ETL, where you transform data, where you do calculations, where you cache stuff. Usually there is a mobile app. So all of those things is what we develop and what we deliver at HackSoft.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Since you guys are using Django from a long time, what's the main selling point to choose Django at the first place?
For me, it's productivity. It is Django has all the tools in place when it comes to software development for web application. So all the little utilities, all the big abstractions, everything that you need is there. And every time I'm building something and I'm not using Django, I struggle a lot because I realize how much I need those tools.
Yeah. And we have an entire episode about this where we discuss it at length. That is going to place it someplace here that you can listen about our reasoning for using Django. And I tend to agree with your arguments. Was there any situation that you guys felt like, I wish there was a better solution while developing something with Django? This is easy for me. Every time we do templates with Django, it's like, oh, this is not good. I want my proper front-end tools.
I want my React, I can think of a lot of situations that I was not using Django and I wish I used Django.
Yes.
But while using Django, a lot of projects come by that are using generic. I mean, when we have a client with already existing project, like almost all the projects that we come by are using generics. Generics, routers for the URLs. Yeah. And I wish that the documentation of Django and Django REST framework was not leading you so easily to jump into those things, because they're like pushing you to use them, saying, "Hey, look with only 4 lines of code, you can achieve this, this, and that." But normally, you don't need to use those things.
Yes. I suppose whenever we inherit a Django project that's in a bad state, it's you can say to yourself, "Oh, there are better solutions from the current state to where we want to go. But we got better at improving the general situation and making it work, even with something that was a complete mess.
I can think of something that Django can improve a little, and this is the Django admin. It is great. It comes for free. You can build like a lot of backend tools, and almost all of our clients are using the Django admin in order at least to read only what the situation in the data. But it looks a little 2012, I would say. It may be looking a little bit better in terms of visuals, because some of our clients that don't really know that this is the Django admin, they think of the Django admin as something that we built.
Yeah.
And if I were a client, I would be like, it works, it's great, but at least the colors, at least the look and feel can be a little bit improved.
Well, you can theme it a bit. You can change some of the colors, and I think we got better at explicitly communicating that this is our back office for the time being, but it's not going to be our back office like forever.
Yeah, but the thing is that some clients are using it almost forever. I mean, it is so good in terms of functionality. Yeah, it is so good in terms of functionality that it sticks there for a long time.
Yeah.
And if it looks a little bit better, it will be nice. But
it gets the job done.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right. And the last question from this thread: since FastAPI is growing so rapidly, what do you guys think the future holds for Django?
I don't see FastAPI as a competitor to Django in any way for now.
Okay.
I see FastAPI as a competitor to Flask.
Flask, yeah.
Yeah. Because every time that you know that you're going to build a solid software, you're certainly going to Django. Every time you need something to build an one API, two API, something really small, you're not going to Django either way. So I don't see that FastAPI is getting some market share for Django in any way.
I think it's going to get some market share because it's the new thing, and it's for sure growing rapidly, and it does not have all that legacy that Django has, and so it can move faster.
All right.
That's an important point. But at least how I think about it. So I can start with FastAPI, no problems. And if I want to grow and have more stable and mature software, I'm going to get the tools that FastAPI provides, an SQL Alchemy, and move towards something that resembles Django. And I think that's going to be fine. It's not going to be Django, but I know that I'm going to move towards something that resembles Django. And vice versa, I can get Django. It now has async support for views, for APIs. And I can trim it down and I can strip it and move towards something that resembles FastAPI. And I know I can do both. For us, Django is comfort, but I think you can basically achieve the same result with both frameworks. There are going to be various struggles, but Flask for sure is going to get its share of the pie taken away by FastAPI, but Django some part of the pie, but not the whole pie.
I think that trimming down Django to become something more lightweight is way easier than building on top of FastAPI in order.
If you know what you're doing.
Okay, I can agree with this, but building on top of FastAPI, you have a lot of things to build in order to do something that at least looks like Django in terms of developer experience.
But I think both are valid cases, and we'll see.
Just try setting up your ORM with some kind of migration framework on FastAPI. You will lose a couple of days, at least
most probably. Yeah.
And that's the point where you realize how good Django is for those things.
And the ORM, the migrations layer. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, we continue. So those are all the questions from YouTube. We now go to questions from LinkedIn. In the next episode, talk about jazz band community because they're doing a great job. So I was not familiar with the jazz band community. I know that we are using some of the packages that they're supporting. So I suppose it's a good idea to actually look at it and talk about them in a future episode.
I agree. I mean, do you know which packages we are using from there, or?
what was it? Don't do maths on stream.
All right. Yeah.
We're going to talk about it. The question is included, but
sounds interesting.
Yeah, we need to pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps, yeah. Next one. Discuss the best way to manage settings file for different environments in Django. Something like this. The best way to manage settings for different environments.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Using Django. Okay. We have pretty big section in Django style guide about this.
And style guide example.
In the style guide example project, yeah. What we do, of course, keep secrets in environment variables. Yeah. Really important thing. Never keep secrets in the code base. And split the settings into production, Woco for Woco development, and some kind of base settings. And then you can split them as much as you want in different files, have different structures. But what Django allows you is to have different setting files for different environments, because normally you need different production settings for your production environment and different Woco settings for your Woco environment. We even have settings file for running tests, because some of the settings needs to be different while you are running your test in order to achieve better performance. Yeah. But that's my 2 cents. Just read the Django style guide on how we do it, and there is a pretty good reasoning why we are doing this way.
Yeah. I have a bit of a strong opinion here. So for sure, on higher level, split Django settings, third-party settings. Django settings is everything Django related. Third-party settings you can then split by module. AWS, Sentry, Celery, whatever you need, just keep it separate from Django settings, and then include everything in Django settings. This is on top level. Now, for the last, I think, 6 months, I'm not a fan of splitting local and production. I'm kind of thinking this is not needed at all. You can just have a single base settings file and then be smart with just follow a basic strategy pattern whenever you need a different type of setting, rather control it through an environment variable than just have it on production. So, and for Django, there are like some settings that you need a production.py, like the security settings. You kind of want to put them in a production, but nothing more than that, I would say. So you can have base and you can have production. I'd say local is not needed at all. You don't need local. You need
base, yeah.
You want to be running as close to production as possible, even locally, and control whatever you need from environment variables. And then perhaps I will just replace local with test for the reason that you mentioned, because you want to change some settings for your tests so they can run faster. And the same applies for requirements. So far I see only reason for a base requirements and test requirements. No need to split to local and no need to split to production. But this will at some point come to the style guide example. There are some pending pull requests with some thoughts around this. But yeah, we'll follow up on this.
All right.
And next question. Do you plan filming HackCast Season 3?
Yes, we do, as you already mentioned.
Discussing different ways of deploying a Django app might be interesting. It is interesting indeed, and you can watch an entire episode about it over here. We talked at length about the different options of deploying Django, so we're not going to go there again. All right, and now we have 5 more questions from Instagram, and then the special announcement.
All right.
Let's read questions from Instagram. What piece of tech are you most excited about right now?
I'm the kind of person that easily gets excited about different things. So I'm really excited around the direction that Next.js as a framework is going through. Really excited. I'm not sure if it's a tech, but I would say that the new things that are already here in terms of AI and how it helps us actually do our jobs better. What else? I'm always excited about infrastructure and servers. So everything that AWS announced as new service, I'm already there looking at how it works and if we can use it or not. And what else? Django async is something that really gets me excited. That's everything that I can think of for now.
I'll be pragmatic, and I'm quite excited with all things coming from Next and Vercel because it helps us a lot. Build better fit solutions for our clients. Next question. Text editors of choice. Why?
It's a hard topic for me.
Why?
I was using Vim for a lot of time. And then I started to write a lot of TypeScript. And I was, I don't really have the time to upgrade my Vim so I can properly write TypeScript right now because I was in a hurry. And I tried VS Code. And VS Code is fine.
It is?
It works. And it gets the job done without too much of a hustle. However, every time I need to write something that is not JavaScript or TypeScript, and I have some time, I'm always getting back to my Vim. During the holidays, I managed to migrate it to new Vim.
All right.
Of course, not everything works as I would like to. I would like to. Still don't have the time to figure it out. And so my editor of choice is always Vim. Yep. However, I use VS Code a lot because I don't have the time for dealing with Vim all the time.
Mostly for TypeScript, but VS Code is good. I'm a Vim user. I'm one of Stefan Kunef's disciples, back from the Faculty of Mathematics and Informatics. Before this, I was just using Eclipse for Java, but after this, Vim. And I still struggle with TypeScript in Vim. To be honest, I think VS Code has better by default experience because Vim you need to invest some time to get there. But that's about it. Like, I'm just used to using Vim.
I do note taking in Vim because I tried a lot of different web-based applications for note taking, but they're all too slow for my needs, and I need something that I don't know, just enjoy typing in Vim, and that's why I keep all my notes in like a directory on my computer. And I use Vim to edit them. And a quick command to sync them to the cloud just in case my laptop goes bad.
Okay. If
it works. It works for me a lot. I like it.
It's interesting. All right. How are you deciding what architecture to follow for a whole project?
Well, there is definitely not an algorithm for that in terms of follow these steps and you'll figure out the architecture.
Yeah.
What I would say is that the architecture is a function of a couple of things. It is a function of what is, of course, the project, what are the requirements, what is the team, of course, because there is no one thing fit them all.
Yes.
So you constantly need to be aware when the requirements change, when the product is evolving, and when the team is evolving. It is okay to change architectures and to go to different ways here and there. It's not like one set in stone and we never change it. And we are definitely going around the style guide. So when it comes to Django, if we need to take some architectural decision, we are having a good conversations around it. We are rereading the style guide and trying to figure out what is the best thing we can do for this project, for this team.
Yes. And as I will add one more nuance here. By default, because there are companies that by default start with microservices. By default, we start monolith-based.
All the way.
And expand with services following the service-oriented approach, which is great. And it's not a madness like the microservices approach.
Yes.
So by default, we always start with a monolith, if possible. And we always start with some kind of proof of concept that gets the job done and we can get to production sooner rather than later. I think those are the defaults of our architecture choices that we make. And then after this, it's case by case.
Yes. I'm that guy that always avoids the microservices approach if possible, mainly because of previous experience.
Yeah.
But sometimes this is the only thing that can help, and it definitely makes sense for certain projects.
But you need more people. It's the same argument as with the DDD. You need more people.
You need more people. You need more infrastructure. You need more DevOps. You need a lot of complexity. You add a lot of complexity in the project and the local development. Basically, there are a lot of downsides.
Yeah.
But sometimes this is the only way to go.
And the way that we're doing monoliths are with separation of concerns in mind. We separate by domain, and we try to keep things clean, so it's okay.
Yes.
All right. According to your experience and observation, how many people switch career paths and go into IT?
A lot. Well, how many? Assume some kind of a number to be given here. I don't know the numbers, but it seems like on our junior positions, when we are doing interviews, there are a lot of people that are switching from some kind of different career path to being a developer.
Yeah. In Bulgaria, working in software development is one of the better paid jobs compared to everything else.
I would agree, yeah.
Yeah, and there are a lot of academies that prepare people, and they basically give you the promise that if you are consistent enough and diligent enough, you can get there. You can get into IT. You can go from the different career to IT. So I would say there are a lot of people trying to switch, but I think it's not as easy.
Definitely not.
And I think it's sometimes people start doing this and they expect to have results within 6 months.
Yes.
Which is really
true.
hard. Yeah. And perhaps the hardest part is to get into the industry, start your first job, because everybody's looking for experience and you have no experience. And it's really hard to get past the interview process.
For people with some kind of mathematical background, like architects, engineers, everyone that studied math at the university, it's way easier than for other people.
Yes.
Which I guess is normal, but yeah, keep this in mind too.
Engineering background makes it easy because you've already been exposed to mathematical thinking and logical thinking.
Problem solving.
Yeah, and problem solving. All right, the last question from Instagram and the last question generally for this episode. And after this, we're going to make the announcement. I want to know more details about working as contractors. What's the best and worst onboarding experience?
Working as contractors.
So this is the outstaffing model. Few things to clarify here. So HackSoft, as a software development company, we don't do any kind of outstaffing. And what is outstaffing? We hire people and then we send them with contracts to other companies, and they work for those companies.
Yes.
And we have no control over their work, their careers, nothing. We're just a proxy company.
They basically have a manager at the company there.
Yes.
Which is something that we don't do.
We don't do. And the other thing that we don't do is classic outsourcing, which is find a big company, and there are plenty of them here in Bulgaria, and just get all the work from that big company. So we are basically an extension of this big company. We don't do outstaffing. We don't do classic outsourcing. We aim for having clients that we can work with directly, and we aim to do end-to-end software development.
Okay. Is it safe to say that even if we have a client that we are working directly, we are some kind of contractors for this client?
If you say that this is the definition of contractors, then yes, I suppose so.
So it's safe to say that we are contractors for all of our clients, because we are not in the company, we are an external company with a contract that is doing the work.
Yeah, but then again, what's the best and the worst onboarding experience? So usually we don't get onboarded, we get ourselves onboarded.
Yes.
It's quite the proactive process on our end, figuring out what needs to be done and starting to address the problems that there are. And perhaps the best experience is whenever we have a client with a brand new greenfield project that comes with Figma.
Yes.
Figma designs. It's really great to have Figma designs. Yeah. Chef's kiss. And perhaps the worst is whenever... It's not like the worst because we are doing this, but whenever someone comes to us and says, everything is on fire, please help.
This is definitely not a pleasant experience.
It's not pleasant to onboard, yes.
However, we are good at this.
Yes.
And we are keeping the ships alive.
Yeah.
But I would say that the worst onboarding experience are those projects that are like a side project. And the development, basically our part is done way faster than the client can handle it, And since this is not the main focus of the client or the client's company, it is not always a good experience doing this, because basically you're done, but the client, let's say, is not ready to launch it, and so on. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's about it. And of course, before we go to the giveaway announcement, if you happen to be a company and you have some kind of Django-based project that's not going well, write an email to us. We can figure something out. We can help you out. We're pretty good at this. So those were all the questions for episode number 10. Thank you, everyone, because we expected at most 10 questions for 20-30 minutes episode. I think we're way past 40 minutes. 30? 50. All right, we're
a long one.
Going for an hour. Thank you, everyone. This is really appreciated. We're going to do this often enough because we like the questions. Those questions actually also help us think about things and help us improve things. So thank you about this. And this February, HackSoft is turning 9. We're going to celebrate our 9th birthday, which is, wow, sounds like a lot.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
And in order to celebrate our birthday, we're going to make a very special birthday giveaway. Yes. And it's going to be a giveaway with a focus on YouTube.
All right.
And the rules to participate are quite simple. You need to basically subscribe to our channel, hit the bell, and make sure that your subscription is public, because if it's not public, then we cannot see it on the list and we cannot draw you for the final prize. So the very first thing that you can do about our 9th birthday giveaway is subscribe to our HackSoft channel and then watch a video that's from 15th of August 2022 onwards, our new videos, because we kind of restarted everything last year in August with the vlog from EuroPython. So watch any of the videos, like that video, and write a comment underneath that video telling us what you like about it. So basically subscribe, find the video that you like it, and tell us what do you like about it as a comment. And then at the end of February, 28th of February, when we're going to celebrate our 9th birthday.
Party.
Yeah, it's going to be a party. We are going to draw the prizes.
All right.
And of course, since it's our 9th birthday, we're going to have 9 prizes.
A lot of prizes.
Yeah, a lot of prizes. So essentially, we're going to give Amazon gift cards at the cost of $50 or 50 euros. We're going to figure out from which Amazon to buy the gift cards that are going to be as close as possible to the winners of this giveaway. Because do you know this? If you buy from Amazon.com, you cannot use it on Amazon.co.uk.
Nope, yeah. I don't know this.
It's complicated. So we're going on the 28th of February. We're going to pick the winners, and there's something very, very, very special. If we manage to get to 1,000 subscribers, that's like 100 times 10.
Okay.
With 3 zeros.
Okay.
If we manage to get to 1,000 subscribers, we're going to give a 10th final prize on top of the 9 prizes that we're going to give. And it's going to be the latest DAS Keyboard Pro 6 or something like this. We really like the DAS Keyboard. Yeah, we're going to show it here. So if we manage to get to 1,000 subscribers before 28th of February, we're going to have a special 10th prize that we're going to pick. And even if we have picked you for one of the first 9 prizes, you're still eligible to participate for the 10th prize if we get to 1,000 subscribers. So subscribe, make sure your subscription is public, watch a video from our new videos, like it, comment what do you like about that video, and you are eligible for the giveaway. And we're just going to, perhaps we'll see, is it going to be a live stream or something that we record for the drawing, and that's about it.
And bring your friends, because 1,000 subscribers are a lot.
Yeah. And don't subscribe just for the prize. We do good videos. That is here, she's smiling. And we have a lot of things prepared for this year in terms of YouTube. So subscribe because it's good content. That's it. Yeah. End of season 2. High five.
We cannot participate for the prize, right?
We'll see. Teddy, on camera, high five. All right. Thank you for watching, and we'll be back for season 3.
Bye bye.